Hi, I'm Fullerton-Meaney, and welcome to my presentation on the Tuskegee Confederate Monument. For a quick overview, first I'll take you through some background on the city of Tuskegee, then move into some history of the monument itself before I talk about the lost cause myth and its connections to the monument. I'll continue by discussing the history of protest at the monument, with the ongoing court case surrounding the monument, and wrap things up by explaining what's going on with the monument right now and exactly why you should care about this video at all. Tuskegee, Alabama is the home of the Tuskegee Confederate Monument, but you probably know the name because of the Tuskegee Airmen, the famous Black Air Force squadron. Before the Airmen, the source of Black pride in the city came from the Tuskegee Institute. Founded on July 4th, 1881 by Booker T. Washington, it was a school to train Black teachers before expanding to become a vocational school, and today it's a notable HBCU. Washington was famous for his accommodationist policies and his willingness to work within the restrictions of the Jim Crow South. He offered a vocational education which allowed Black laborers to succeed in a segregated economy. After the monument was put up, the Tuskegee Airmen offered the city a new source of racial pride, putting the Tuskegee name on the map in the national arena of civil rights activists. Galvanizing the Black community, the Tuskegee Airmen created an environment and tradition of protest in the city leading up to 1966. In the first challenge to the monument, a protest which I will discuss later rocked the city, leading to a huge gathering of Black students and the defacing of the monument as Black students expressed their hatred for it. That same monument was built in 1906 by the United Daughters of the Confederacy, a year in which a huge amount of Confederate monuments went up around the South in an attempt to commemorate the Confederacy. Sitting across from the Macon County Courthouse in the city of Tuskegee, Alabama, sits the Tuskegee Confederate Monument. On top of the large stone monument, a uniformed Confederate soldier holding a rifle stands like a sentinel. The front of the monument reads 1861 to 1865, erected by the Daughters of the Confederacy to the Confederate Soldiers of Macon County, CSA. Confederate battle flags mid-wave cover either side of the base, with the text "Honor the Brave" on the back. 1906 was the 25th anniversary of the Tuskegee Institute's founding, and a huge fundraising effort was underway as the Black population of Tuskegee celebrated their school. The monument's building was a direct attack by the UDC against the celebration of Blackness in the city, trying to divert attention away from the Institute and towards their commemoration of Confederate soldiers. The monument was officially dedicated in 1909 as a monument to a nameless soldier of the Confederacy, but in message, it represented the remaining influence of white supremacy in the county. The lost cause myth is at the center of the Tuskegee Confederate Monument. Despite being housed in the proud Black city, it shows the influence that white supremacy still has over the community, as due to the original chart of the land it sits on, the plot of land was given to the UDC to be used for a segregated park for white people. The land that the monument sits on is a commemoration of segregation, and it houses a commemoration of slavery. Both aspects here fit well into the lost cause myth, as oppression, the history of racial violence, and slavery are covered with an attempt to commemorate who the UDC called the brave members of the county. The monument has been at the center of several protests since its unveiling, starting with the largest of the protests in 1966. Samuel Young Jr. was a Black activist who grew up in Tuskegee and attended the Tuskegee Institute. He attempted to use a whites-only bathroom in 1966, and after firing 2 warning shots, Marvin Segrist, a white man, shot and killed Young. After the killing, the trial was moved from Macon County to an all-white county where Segrist was acquitted in a very quick trial. What followed was days of protests led by the students from the Tuskegee Institute. As you can see, the crowd swarmed the monument in the photo here. They were angry and set the tone for a transition of power from Booker T. Washington's accommodationist policies to self-determination, yelling Black power, cries to take the monument down, in fact, to take all the monuments down, echoed around the gathering. Samuel Young's name was written in black paint across the monument, starting a tradition of protest through vandalism, which continued in 2015 when the statue was covered in markings that indicated the white supremacist roots of the monument. The statue was unable to hide, and it became a canvas for the frustrations and anger of the community. In 2020, in the midst of the Black Lives Matter protests nationwide, the graffiti got so intense and repeated that the UDC chose to cover the base of the monument in tarps, as pictured on the right. This signaled a victory for the protesters as the messages of hate and lost cause imagery were covered, and the once mighty-looking monument became a dreary image memorializing how the community has won a symbolic battle over the UDC. Pictured here is Johnny Ford, the first Black mayor of the city and a constant advocate for tearing down the monument. He tried to physically tear it down with a saw while acting as a city councilman in the late 2010s, but he has mostly advocated for the city to remove it. The Macon County Commission, at the behest of the community, sued the UDC to remove the statue. Their suit hinges on the charter for the land, as the segregationist in nature allows them to claim that the land should be returned to the city so that they can remove the monument. The UDC claims the land was never used for its intended purpose and it should remain in private hands, where it is protected by the 2017 Alabama Memorial Preservation Act, preventing the removal of monuments 40 years and older. There is a $25,000 fine associated with breaking the act, and many communities have chosen to simply pay it and remove their statues. Out of state, other communities have had success taking down other monuments, claiming that their monuments violate the constitutional rights of the citizens. The court case has a long road ahead, as there is no longer a local chapter of the UDC, and they have fought the lawsuit at every turn so far. So today, the monument still stands in Tuskegee, and it seems like it will for a while due to the lengthy nature of the lawsuit attempting to remove it. The county has stayed very Black, home to the Tuskegee University, where talented young Black men and women learn to continue the tradition of those who came before them in Tuskegee. The monument represents a fight for the history of the county and the city, as it is a memorial to the county's history that the UDC chose to honor, while activists have changed the narrative to show the monument for what it is, active white supremacy. Through vandalism and paint, they've changed the monument, which stands next to the Macon County Courthouse, into a representation of the unbreakable spirit of the Black community in Tuskegee through the visual changes, which have forced the UDC to cover it up with ugly tarps. In this way, the legal war may have just started, but visually, the monument stands representing an entirely different message, one of Black activism and pride in their community. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video.